Hey, welcome to Fit Mummy Nation TV. Now, in this first series of interviews, I hope to share with you the amazing stories of fit mamas in Singapore who embrace the lifestyle of healthy and active motherhoods. Now, these amazing women have been through the ups and downs of motherhoods, and they have seen their fair share of challenges as they navigate mum life along with achieving their health goals. There's so much to share, so much to learn, and to be inspired by each of their stories. Today, I have the privilege of inviting that mom of four, Dawn Sim, on the show. Now, Dawn is mom to four beautiful girls. She is also the founder and instructor of Trium Studio, where she teaches yoga, pilates, and other fun fitness classes. She is also a wellness coach and motivational speaker, hosting workshops and seminars to share her fitness journey and various life experiences. You might have seen her on TV or in the papers as her amazing story gets shared and celebrated. Here's one more fun fact about her. Dawn was actually one of the co-founders who brought Lululemon into Singapore. And now she is one of the local ambassadors for Lululemon. We had fun reminiscing about the first shophouse unit at Club Street back in the early days. Dawn is definitely one of the best role model mama to listen to and to learn from. I am so inspired by her dedication, her focus, and her passion for both family and work. Now, Dawn is mom to four beautiful girls. She is also the founder and instructor of Trium Fitness, where she teaches yoga, pilates, and other fun fitness classes. She is also a wellness coach and motivational speaker, hosting workshops and seminars to share her fitness journeys and various life experiences. You might have seen her on TV or in the papers, as her amazing stories get shared and celebrated. Here's one more fun fact about her. She was one of the co-founders who brought Lululemon into Singapore. And now she is one of the local ambassadors for Lululemon. We had fun reminiscing about the first shophouse unit at Club Street back in the early days. Dawn is definitely a model mama to listen to and to learn from. I am so inspired by her dedication, focus, and passion for both family and work. Okay, I will not reveal too much about her now. Let's get right into the conversation with Dawn and draw some inspiration and tips from her. Hello, welcome, Dawn.
Hi,
Hello,
Karen.
thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on and have a chat with us. I think we will all love to hear your story. Now, Dawn is a very busy mom, okay? She has four girls on top of a busy work schedule. So, I won't say too much. I'll just, let you have the honor of introducing yourself and maybe share a bit with all the mummies here, what you do, so a little bit about your kids and how busy you are.
Okay, so thank you so much for the quick introduction, Corinne. I'm Dawn, and yes, my Instagram handle implies I'm a mom of four. I gave birth to all four of them myself. Sometimes I bring them out and people are like, are they really all your kids? And yes.
Why
yeah,
not?
so I don't know, maybe because my oldest and my second one are already taller than I am. So,
all right.
Yeah. So my oldest one is 15 this year. Second is 13. She just turned 13 a few days ago. My third one is 9, and my youngest one is 5, but turning 6 at the end of this year lah. So all are girls. And I like to think that they actually take after me more than my husband, personality wise. Personality wise, yeah. They have his dimples. I think they have his height. But yeah, I mean, they're really easy to look after. And though my two older ones were born in France, and I didn't have help there, I have to say it's really because they're so easy to look after that I even thought about having like a third one and then a fourth one. So yeah, I mean, I really think that bonding with them in the beginning makes a very big difference, and that's why I try my best with to do the same despite going back to work after coming back to Singapore. I try to do the same for my third and my fourth. I think having good bonding with them is really, really important. It's not just a relationship thing, but having that understanding and that communication with them is never just mommy says it because she's the mom or she's the boss. That I have to do something, but they know where I come from, and I think that just makes things a whole lot easier. I run 3 different businesses. One of them including my yoga studio, my aerial studio. I also I do hosting more now ever since the circuit breaker started. I do live streams. I actually do coaching,
Right.
well, related to fitness and wellness. I don't just teach yoga, Pilates, and aerial, which many people think. I actually started off as a personal trainer. But although my background is in marketing and management, I studied business. So I hold a degree in business. I decided to leave my full time job to just focus more on just full time helping people transform their lives because I think that makes a bigger impact, not just on people that I work with, but actually for me. I
Right.
do always like to feel like I'm giving something or I'm making a difference, not just making money. Yeah. So it's more fulfilling for me, and that's why I'm still very much doing what I'm doing right now
Yeah.
with a lot of joy. Although it's keeping me very busy, it's also keeping me very happy.
I know you get your energy from it as well.
I have taken on 3 full-time jobs over the course of my adulthood. But teaching classes has always been a constant. In
Yeah.
fact, it was my first part-time job.
Right.
So yeah, and when I graduated, I took on a full-time job as a marketing exec. And then I later on got married. I took up a full-time job as a manager with one of the big gyms here. It's still around.
Yes.
But I left because my husband was posted overseas. And I was already pregnant at the time. So when I came back, I continued teaching part time, and then we again left in and out, depending on where he was posted to. So ever since I came back, I was three, and I was only a mom of 3. I was a manager for Lululemon for a few years, and then when I got pregnant with my fourth one, I thought I wouldn't have enough time to look after my family. So I gave up my full time job. But after I gave birth, I realized that hey, I'm feeling restless again. So that's when the studio started.
Mm.
So yeah, we're still I don't manage it alone. I'm actually one of the co-founders.
Mm.
So I handle more of like the classes, and another partner takes care of the accounts, the operations as well. So yeah, I don't manage it all by myself.
Those days when you were working with Lululemon, they were at the shop house at Anxiang, right? Or
Park
started
Street.
off with
Park
that.
Street. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that one was so that location was the first place that we started. In new markets we generally just start off as a showroom first. So I was actually the first hire in Singapore. And I was kind of headhunted when I was in Colorado. I was there
Right.
for I was there for a yoga journal conference. And I when the headhunter came up to speak to me, she's like, "Oh, you're from Singapore. We're actually going to be opening the market there." So I said, "Oh, you know what? I've been teaching there for a few years. So if you need to speak to any like studio owners or teachers, I'll be happy to connect you with them." So that's all I said. And then they took down my contact. When I came back, I went on a call with them. And it started to sound like an interview, and I had to stop there. I'm like, "Are you interviewing me? I'm not looking for a job. I'm very happy. Like my baby's only a few months old. I came here for the conference. I'm back to like being a mom again and just teaching for fun. But then when they told me that this is the kind of role that we're looking for, and we think you're suitable for it, you want to give it a try. I was like, well, I get to work from home. Why not? I get to go to classes, which I'm already doing. Why not? And talking to people, which I also enjoy. Why not?
Yes.
So I took it up, and then I set up the first showroom for them. Marketing and management was also part of what I
What you do?
studied.
Yes.
Yeah, so it kind of came together, and I had really a lot of fun just like talking to people whom I already know, like, hey, you wanna and eventually like doing events together, and just sharing with people about like what I wear every single day, which is just yoga clothes, right? So it was all yeah, it's all quite natural to me. But then came all the traveling. Yeah, so because we were a new market, I actually had to go to London for training. I had to go to the US for training, and I mean it was really interesting. And I have
Mm.
to say this was a job where I actually learned the most.
Mm.
Not just in managing a business, but really managing people and myself.
Yes.
So yeah, so that was the last full time job
So, but
that
at that
I
point in time, you had number one.
No, I had three.
Three
My
already.
youngest, my third one was only a few months old.
Right. Oh
Now
my
she's nine.
gosh.
Now she's 9. Yeah. Yeah. So
Oh
I
my gosh.
left my role only in 2015, which
Mm-hmm.
was, yeah. So I was with them for about almost
A good,
4 years.
yeah, I think a good 3 to 4 years, right? Yeah, because I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
the first time, actually, I remember now, the first time I went to visit that outlet, you were
Mm-hmm. Oh, the
there.
Club Street one.
Yes. I actually went there
Ah.
to get a pair of the short tights to go
Mm-hmm.
on
Mm-hmm.
stage for a bikini competition. So
Wow.
I didn't want to get, I don't know, I mean all along I do wear Lululemon. So I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
trusted, something I trust.
Yes.
And the fit
Once
is
you go there,
usually
you can't
good.
turn back.
Then
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the short tights at that time, like, so
Yes.
many years ago. I
Yes.
don't think they have it now anymore. But
I
that's what
think
I
they
got.
do, but it's just slightly longer now.
Mhm. Yeah. So fun
Wow,
times.
that's
Those were
that's
fun times.
a long
So it
time
was so
ago.
awesome,
Yeah.
right? To see it grow from that small shop house, then to
Yes.
one more
Yes.
outlet, and then oh my gosh, they do the
Yeah.
Taka, that kind
Oh
of thing.
no, the Ion store first. So
Yes,
I set up
yes.
the Ion store,
Ions first,
and
yes.
then we hired all the people. So after the place was running, then I found out that I was pregnant. Um, so it's like at least half a year later, I found out I was pregnant. Then yeah, it's like the market was growing so fast at that time. It was quite hard for me to say like I need to just focus more on my family because the passion really is still very much with the company. So
Yes.
I was very happy when just last year they asked me to come on board as an ambassador. So yeah, it's just come full circle lah. Because I was the one who was actually
Yes.
going out to look
You,
for
I mean,
look for
yeah,
people.
exactly. And you feel at home with them anyway, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
understanding the
So,
culture. Mm-hmm.
mm, see, we all get so excited talking about Lululemon. I understand you mentioned that sometimes your husband's not around for years, even.
Yeah.
So how do
Yeah,
you do
yeah,
it all?
he was away for 3 years. And that was also when he left was the time when I just started my studio.
Oh
So
gosh.
I know, right? And I did share that my two older girls were born in France. And when we moved from France to Singapore, from Singapore to the US, where we lived for 2 years as well, and I was pregnant with my third one. We only came back to Singapore when I was about 7 months pregnant with my third one. So all this while looking after the kids on my own, I have to say it was the best time of my life. Um, Despite it being tough, you know, it's still a choice. So I cannot blame anybody for that. In fact,
Yes.
I think what we can do as parents to make your job and your life a lot easier is to be appreciative of that time that you get to spend with your children instead of because being where I am right now and being busier, I actually really do miss having a lot of time with them and doing a lot of stuff
Right.
with them.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I also know a lot of parents were like, "Wow, I can't wait for them to just go to school and just like leave me alone," that kind of thing. Yes, there are some days when I feel like I just need me time, but I actually make that me time for myself every morning. So I wake up at least half an hour to an hour earlier. I
Before,
get all my
right? Yes.
Yes, and this is you see, I do it every day. So every day I have my me time, which means I will always have that time that I'm with my kids, and I really do appreciate it because I've really taken care of myself. Um, so yeah, making sure that we do take time for ourselves is my next point. Just in being able to manage as a mom.
Mm,
So it's not just in that mental sense where I say like I have that 1 hour, but what do I do during that 1 hour? I can either be like meditating, I would be working out,
right.
doing some self-care thing. Yeah,
Mm,
which I think it's something that many moms forget about. You forget
mm,
about yourself because every day is like I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do that for the family, for the kids. And then along the way, you start to maybe build up more resentment because I have no time for myself. But
yes.
you make time. If you don't
Yes.
do it for
You have to
yourself,
carve it
nobody
out.
else, yes, nobody else will. And then, along the way, you start to, because you're not taking care of yourself, a lot of other things happen. Your health goes down the hill for one.
Mm-hmm.
Your mental health,
Yes.
your skin, your whatever, everything, So when that happens, I think you just become a lot less happy lah.
Yeah.
So that little time that you make for yourself, even if it's 15 minutes, it still makes a difference. Let me tell you, because there are days when I just want to sleep in as well. But that me time really is very important.
Yeah. So for me personally, that quiet time for myself is every morning when I make coffee for myself. Right,
And
a
nobody
quiet
disturbs
time to
you.
enjoy. Yeah, like just have
Yeah.
your coffee in peace. And we literally, I mean, because my husband is a coffee lover. I mean, we have like the grinder, we grind the beans, then you
Yep.
brew,
Yep.
do the flat white.
Yep.
This kind of, yeah. So I
Yeah,
know,
it's therapy.
yes, it is. It is. So some people think that going into meditation means you need to sit and and be quiet, that kind of thing. No, like cooking for
Mm-hmm.
yourself, boiling, stirring stuff is also a form
Yeah.
of
Yeah. Yeah.
meditation.
Or just like watering the plants, as simple as that. So that's something that I enjoy doing during the day as well.
Mm,
But you will know yourself better. What makes you happy? So another thing that I've asked my clients, those who suffer from like depression, panic,
anxiety.
anxiety,
Yeah.
yeah, very often it's because they're also not taking care of themselves. So I make them write a list of things that they feel makes themselves happy. I will
Happy.
know, they know, yeah. So it can be very simple as like watering my plants, talking to my plants, baking,
Yes.
making tea, exercising, or just like doing my nails or stuff like that. So it's very subjective. And the thing is to make them at least do one of those items on a daily basis,
Right.
something that is represents
Yeah,
self-care.
and cheers
you
you
know
up, right? Or you feel good.
exactly, it just
Makes you
makes you
feel good.
happy.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think waiting for other people to make you happy, you wait long lah. Why don't you just do it yourself? Yeah.
I know,
So
right?
I mean that's
That was
it's just
one lesson I learned also over the years as a mom. I have
mm-hmm,
to
mm-hmm,
go
yeah.
achieve it myself and do
You
it.
have to. You
I
have
don't need
to.
permission
Yeah.
from anyone.
Yeah. And I think it's just, personal responsibility as well. And if it makes you a much better parent, a much better person, why not?
Mm,
So sometimes people think that they have to keep giving and giving and giving. But if you yourself run out of gas, what more can you give?
agree.
When I was overseas,
It's all alone,
that is,
right?
yeah. But I actually, like I said, in the morning, or I know when the kids are asleep, that's when I will do my own thing, and I make
Mm,
sure that I do my own thing. Yeah, that's what keeps me sane. Yeah. My husband can sometimes also be like flying on and get deployed while we are overseas. So sometimes I'm left alone with them for a month
mm,
or 5 weeks. Yeah,
mm.
and it can be very very challenging. So I did go through depression when I was there, partly because of the hormonal changes, postnatal depression. But it is also like, that's when I realized that I need to do something for myself. And the yoga, which I really have been practicing for a while, that's when I went more into it. And I found that this is
Yeah.
something that I enjoy. This is something that makes me happy.
Yes.
And I can do it anywhere. So that was what I found. It could be something else for you, but you'll know yourself better. But coming back to Singapore was when I was able to, render the help from my parents.
Mm.
My in-laws live very, very far away. I live in the east; they live in Woodlands. Yeah, so no help there lah. But
Mm.
my husband was when he's in Singapore, yes, he will help with the kids on and off, but his hours are very long as well
Very, yeah.
and can be very erratic. Yeah. So I have to say, like, oh, and when I came back, that's when I had my first helper. She's still with me now, actually. So it's been 9 years ever since my third one was born. So I only had my first helper when my third daughter was born.
Mm.
So having help from my parents, who at the time were still working, so they only retired in the recent years.
Right, right.
And yeah, so now I can actually get more support from them
Mm.
because they're so free. So they're like, even if the kids are not there, they will come over to my place. I have to say, us living in Singapore, we are very fortunate because we have domestic help. So
Mm.
compared to our counterparts in other countries,
Yeah,
we
all
are
alone.
actually very fortunate. Yeah, we're very fortunate here. And then having all the tuition centers and the amenities all around us, supermarkets, malls, so close by, we really are very fortunate because I literally had to just to find things and get things done you have to go out and do it yourself. But here everything is just so close by, just like get the Grab, get the Deliveroo, Food Panda, everything is done. You can even get your groceries within 25 minutes. No such thing where I was. Yeah, and like with Singapore being so small as well. Don't talk about the traffic, but usually distance wise, we're quite close to family.
Yes.
So yes, having family support and people whom you trust, building that support network is very important. It may not be direct family members, but even having like girlfriends on the call where you can just talk to them and
Yes.
and just sound out what's on your mind. I think that really helps so much to be able to have someone to talk to. Like my sister, she's in Japan, but we still contact each other very often. And she's a new mom as well, so we just talk about everything under the sun, but being able to let things out versus just bottling up within you. It
Yes.
doesn't make you stronger. Yeah, it doesn't
Yes.
make you stronger by bottling it up. In fact, it does make you weaker because
Yes.
things will fester. So
Mm.
just let it out. Yeah, just let it out. And
Yeah.
and yeah, it may not be directly to the person that is causing you like despair, because sometimes if the person is not ready to talk, say your husband, very often
Mm.
it's the husband, right? Yeah, things can get worse if it's not the right time to talk.
I
So
know.
like for me, yeah, for me it was like I still have to get it out somehow. So I can be writing it down. Just write it down first, lah. And then when it's the right time to talk, just take it out, lah. Or you know what? Eventually, if things get solved, just burn it, lah. But at
Yes.
least you just get it out, yeah. Or
Yeah.
just talk to
Is,
somebody who will not say anything.
is he in the force? That's why he
Isn't a
needs to
force.
fly. Yeah. So my
Yeah,
husband is in the
yeah.
force as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I know when you say erratic long hours, it's literal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally what they call military wife. The term has
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
reason for that term, right? Yeah, really,
Yes.
basically, most of the times left to sort and fight.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, firefight at home. So I totally
Yes.
and about that part, right, where not every time is a good time to talk.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah, because you don't
absolutely
want you don't want to affect their
empathize.
mental state also, right?
Yes, correct. You want to raise it at the
Yeah.
right time. So then that's where you need your tribe, your trusted girls or community, people who you can lean in on and throw things out
Mm-hmm.
to prevent
Exactly.
depression.
Yes, yeah, but
Prevent
but really
depression.
just yeah, but really just that self-care thing, and you finding what works for you so you can access it anytime yourself is also still the best key. But I guess what we talked so far is already given a few examples of how you can actually
Mm,
manage your
mm,
emotions and manage the difficult times,
mm.
not waiting for your husband or whoever to come help
To
you,
do it
but
for
there really
you,
are.
right?
Exactly.
Yes.
There really are a lot of things that you can do for yourself. So even with like, the toughest kids, how long can they stay awake, right? At some point they're just gonna knock out. So and eventually they do grow up. So when I say how long can they do that, it's not just on a day-to-day basis, but they will not be so little forever. Like right
Yeah.
now, I do miss the times when I was breastfeeding, despite me like crying my eyeballs out and like bleeding from the nipples. It's tough at that time, but I actually do miss that stage. Having gone through it 4 times, I still miss that stage. I still miss the time when they started to talk, when I had to hold their hands to help them walk. Now that they're going out with their friends already. Treasure every moment, no matter how difficult and how challenging it is, because it will not come again unless you have
Okay.
another one. But yeah, the journey might be different also.
Wise words coming from the mother of four. You're reminding me, right? Because my third one is still little.
Treasure
You're
it,
reminding me to
treasure
treasure
it.
it, right?
Yes, yeah, and then like just remember it despite it being so challenging, because while you're going through it, you're also going to get stronger. I actually started running classes from my home, doing what I enjoy, which was teaching. And the best part is my two girls, and I mentioned before, they're so easy to look after, right? So I cannot say the same for everybody else, but this is how I found something that I enjoy. So when my girls sleep, and they will usually nap for about 2 hours, and it's really like clockwork. I didn't even try to train them. They're just that way. So when they sleep, that's when my clients or my students will come over. So that helps me to get that social interaction, because social media was not the thing, right, at that time. But I managed to get that social interaction and just, being myself away from the kids. And if they wake up, just wake up lah, come down lah. But they don't scream, they don't shout, they know mommy's there. So that's how I managed to get my away time with a support group. Yeah,
Right.
sort of. They gave me that.
A community
support.
of women, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And then otherwise, I would actually go out, take myself away from an environment where I feel trapped, where I feel enclosed, and like I'm still at home. This is where I have to clean the house. This is where I have to breastfeed. This is where I have to cook. This is where I have to do the laundry. Take yourself away from that environment. So I became very playful, and almost every day I would bring the kids out to explore some place new. And I did that for a few years, and I really enjoyed it because it helped my girls explore a different country, a different culture so intensely. So we went to we even go to dams. We would go to
Yeah. Just head outdoors,
yeah,
right?
yeah. If it's strawberry
So
season, we'll pick
vast, the land
strawberries.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. If it's blueberry season, we'll pick blueberries. Onions also we pick.
So fun.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of
but
staying overseas, actually.
yes, so
Exposure.
find something fun. It may not always be something that's educational. How educational can picking onions be, right? But just doing something away from your environment where you feel trapped for moms. And in Singapore, in a Singaporean context, it can be as simple as just go to the park. There are so many parks now. Go to the beach, go to Sentosa, just somewhere away from your current environment. And even a mall, I would say is enclosed, is air conditioned. If you're worried about the heat, the sun, but just someplace away from what makes you feel trapped. As a mom, you just have to continuously adapt. There's no handbook, like I said. Yeah, so you have to just figure things out yourself. Just figure things out, and having that support network is great, because if you ask me to ask my mom, what can I do to manage motherhood now to make it easier, she won't know, because a lot of things that we do now actually relies on technology, social media, using apps. Yeah, so being resourceful, I think that's one of the most important skills that I've developed as a mom, not just in my previous jobs, but really mostly as a mom, and multitasking, being able to do a lot of things at one time, is what parenthood has taught me the
It
most.
is, right?
Yes, yeah. So my second daughter was really the toughest to look after. Although I say they're very easy to look after now.
But she's
It's
the
not
toughest
like
among the four.
she was the toughest. So when she was first born, that's when I went through depression the first time, because she would never stay awake. She would never sleep for more than 1.5 hours. So she'll always be awake, even throughout the night. And at some point I would call my husband, like, can you please come back now? I know it's Friday. I know you can come back now. Can you please do that? Because I haven't slept in like what feels like 2-3 days, and I'm going to collapse already.
Yes.
So then he said, oh no, I'm going out to play mahjong. Wow, that was what triggered and spiral into depression, because like, seriously, do you just say that? Yeah. So but it may not be this case for some of you, but whatever triggers you to go into that space, you have to make sure that you're also continuously reminding yourself, this shall pass. It will, and it did, and I will always remember that moment. But when you come out of it, there's a reason. You something shifted, and you were able to go through it. Yeah.
Yes.
And you'll only come out stronger. Oh, my lunch is here. The bonding and the communication that we have with mother and daughter, it helps me to address a lot of the issues that come with that middle child syndrome, where they feel the most neglected. The first child gets the most attention, and so does the third one, because they're probably the last one already. What I find myself doing when I catch myself, not neglecting her, but because my oldest one is where she's in the teenager stage now. Yeah. So different set of issues altogether. And my youngest one is the last one, right? So precious, right? Second one gets a lot of attention because she's
competitive.
Because of how yeah, so she does very well academically. She does very well in sports and everything else that she does lah. So she tends to outshine
Mm.
the rest. So the third one is where I feel she has that typical middle child syndrome. So in order to counter that, I actually get her involved a lot with things that the the youngest one is doing. So they go for karate together. I also get her to be involved in some of the things that the older sisters do. So she really enjoys art. And when it comes to like, um, getting them to pick up new interests that is still a bit more catered towards the older kids, I will also let her try. Yeah.
Mm,
So
mm,
it's not like she does things on her own. She gets to do things at both ends because she's kind of
mm,
caught in the middle.
mm. Yeah.
So that's kind of how I address that. And it may be a bit advanced for her sometimes. It may be a little bit not slow, but you
But at
know,
least she's
uh,
involved.
yes, she's involved in everything. And I make it a point to do that because I have caught myself actually not neglecting her, but really just thinking more about the oldest because it's new to me and I have to try and learn and adapt to manage that stage. And also like, trying to spend more time with the baby because she's the last one.
No, it's true because the youngest is the so-called the most vulnerable, right? They need more so-called, they still need the attention and guidance from us.
Yeah, yeah.
Basically the shepherding, right? And then
Yes,
the older
yes.
ones, they're supposed to be a little bit more independent. You can basically do your stuff, but when you need to, you come and look for me, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Then after that, the center one,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, so poor thing, right?
Yes,
I've
yes.
seen so many so many friends who suffer from like middle child syndrome. So yeah,
Wait,
I
friends or kids of friends?
kids of friends, and then
Right,
my
right, right.
friends will share that with me as well. Yeah, or my friends who are like my
They are the
age right
middle
now,
child.
and they are the middle child. Yeah, I see that. So I'm like, oh, I feel sorry for you.
Right, right, right. There is a mom, another mom with four kids.
Mm-hmm.
She's not
Mm-hmm.
active, but then now she
Yeah.
wishes to, get started moving, be a bit more, spend a bit more time on herself, right? What would you
Mm-hmm.
say that would be the three important tips for her, right? From your perspective to get her started?
I would say make sure that you know your limitations. So, firstly, you need to, if you're very, very new to exercise, go for a class where you can get corrected. Because no matter how on the ball you are, if you're doing something on a regular basis and you're doing it wrongly, that's where you actually may get repetitive strain or you might get injury sooner as well. So just get corrected in the beginning. It might just be a few sessions, but it's better than doing the wrong thing for too long and then you end up with injuries after that. It's very sayang. So yeah, you had the best intentions, but if you the moment you get injured, you're out of action. Forget it.
Intention is gone again, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
So get it right from the start. Educate yourself.
Mm,
Secondly, make sure that you're also cross training.
mm,
You may enjoy running a lot, but if it's just the only thing that you're doing, good luck to achieving your goals. To being fit, because you will end up with tension in your hamstrings. You may end up with postural issues. You may end up with knee issues. So when I say cross train, if you're doing your cardiovascular training with running, you should be incorporating some flexibility training to help you with the recovery. You should also be doing some core training because when it comes to running, many people don't engage the core. And that's where you might end up with other problems elsewhere, and your run might not be the best form either.
mm,
Yeah, so just make sure that you're cross training. Get your strength training, get your cardiovascular training, and get your flexibility training all in.
mm.
Thirdly, nutrition.
Yep.
Despite the best intentions to work out, if you are not eating right or resting enough as well, you can forget about seeing the gains also.
Mm,
So if you're working out every day, but you're also eating rubbish, the recovery is not going to happen because part and parcel of us exercising is, and if you're exercising at a more intense level, you will also be releasing free radicals.
yes.
You will also be releasing lactic acid. So how are you getting rid of all those things? And part and parcel of exercising is also deliberate damage to our muscles. How are you recovering from that? How are you bringing in the
Yes.
building blocks to repair your muscles?
Mm.
So have a think about that. The nutrition is actually very, very important when it comes to trying to get gains from whatever exercise regime that you're incorporating.
Correct. Yeah.
Mhm.
And of
Yeah.
course, at different levels of exercise or activity you're at, all these things just have to match accordingly, right? To
Mhm.
support
Mhm.
whatever your intentions are.
Exactly. Yeah. So also don't get stuck in a rut lah. When you know it's time to move on and get tougher workouts in, do that.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
so to sum it up from Dawn, right? Number one, know your limitations, right? And then learn, right? Get yourself educated and get started correctly. Then number two, cross training, right? Don't just do
Yeah.
one thing all the time. And then number three, nutrition. You really need nutrition, then you can recover well, then you can go again.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you were the Minister of Education, you've just taken over Lawrence Wong before he left. There is no limit, okay? You have all the resources. What would you change or implement in Singapore?
I would actually incorporate a program where, and it's part of their curriculum as well, that makes them, um, it's not a subject where, like mathematics and it's quite dry, but it's something that actually sparks their interest to keep learning. I don't know what that curriculum looks like, but I think for whatever subject or whatever matter it is, it may even be sports. It might be something else that's not academic at all. But the moment they're taught this skill of being very, very curious and being so interested and resourceful to learn whatever it is that they're interested in, I think they will just excel as a person.
Right. So maybe something towards getting all the kids to learn, maybe learn how to learn, or like
something
the
like
curious,
that.
the curious thinker, or something like that, like this kind of topics.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be
Yeah.
applied across the board
Mm-hmm.
to other relevant subjects as well, right?
Yeah. So in anything that they
Non-academic
have
based.
an interest in, yeah, it has to
Non-academic
be
based.
a subject in all schools.
Right. All right. Awesome. See, actually, I've talked to a few mothers and they all want something that's non-academic based.
Interesting, huh?
See, we all share the same thing. I should compile all these and then send it to the next minister. See?
Yeah.
It's what the mothers want.
Exactly. I mean, because we are all working with the little ones, right? So, and I think it's become our job, which is also great. But I think if you can expose them to such a subject in school as well, throughout the day, it's not just in a home environment, that they can actually be reinforced, something like that. Just keep learning and exploring, and yeah, just never be afraid to ask questions. So instead of just having something that they have to memorize and understand, but something instead to make them do and want to do more, I think yeah, that would be very interesting if somebody comes up with a curriculum like that.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Mhm.
Okay, I think this
Yes.
is a great place to end after the new
Mhm.
minister has spoken. It's time for lunch.
Yes. So thank you so much for the lovely chat as well, Corinne. And
Thank you so
I
much,
do hope that,
Dawn.
yeah,
Right.
whatever we've
Next
shared,
round,
I
we will
think.
get you to show off some exercises and teach some basic stuff already.
Ooh, yeah, all the mummy tummy issues and
Yeah.
postpartum issues.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm. Yeah.
All
Thank you
right.
for having me,
Enjoy your
Corinne.
lunch. Thank you very much.
Mhm. Bye.